count mine. You know. Ask me what I'm doing, just grinding. Haters wanna hate, let them hate, never mind them. Be more bins, tryna reach the next plateau. And I can't stop till I achieve my goals. Keep a couple feet inside the photos. So official with the vibe, you can kick up my zone. Hold on for a minute, let me count mine. You know.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Damian Crier, and I am back with another video. If you guys have not subscribed to the Crier family, all you gotta do is turn that bell on to subscribe to the channel. Or being subscribed only means you're subscribed. And in order to get the notifications every time I drop a video on the Crier family, you must turn that bell with the vibrating symbol. That way, every time I upload a video, you will get notifications. Also, guys, I will be dropping a link to my reaction channel in the description box down below. So that way you guys can go on over there and subscribe to that channel right now. As you guys know, I will be doing my very first Cash App on that channel once I hit 50K subscribers over there. And I also will continue doing the Cash App giveaways on this channel, which is the Crier family, during the month of November and December. You guys already know why. Like I said, it's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy giving back. I enjoy helping others out. And you don't have to know somebody just to help them out, man, because what's done in the dark, God always sees it. So anyway, guys, as you see, I got me some steamed broccoli, and I have some pot roast that I had made today. I was gonna do the cooking video for you guys today, but I had like a lot of different stuff going on today that pulled me in, well, it actually pulled me from that direction. So anyway, I'm gonna say my grace here real quick, and so I can start eating and talking to you guys, because I am freaking starving, man. Thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for this food. Thank you for blessing my household. Most importantly, Lord, thank you for my health, Lord. Thank you so much for my health. Thank you, Lord, for watching over all of the Crier family members, to keep them all healthy, help them through their struggles and the things that they may be going through. In the name of Jesus, amen. Guys, I stressed that part about my health. Today has been a very trying day. I won't really go into details about pretty much none of it, because this is something that you have to expect to happen when you try to do better for yourself. I'm one of those people, I'm never going to be what somebody else wants me to be. I'm never going to be where somebody else wants me to be. I'm going to be what I want to be, and I'm going to be where I want to be, because I'm going to be the type of person that's going to put the work in to make sure that I accomplish those goals. By the way, I turned my ringer off this time, because part one that I did earlier, my phone kept ringing, and it was hard for me to do the video, so I had to cut the video kind of short, and that's why I put to be continued at the end of the video. Basically, I ended the video off and I was talking about my little brother, how they wouldn't let me see him, and how like some paperwork had got mixed up where they were supposed to shackle me and take me over to Indiana to be able to go to my brother's funeral. But it never happened. I never found out the reason why I wasn't able to go, or why the state of Indiana, Allen County, which is Fort Wayne, Allen County, didn't come down to get me. And when you behind the walls like that, you're only limited to finding out so much information that, you know. But to make a long story short, I basically, the time that my little brother had passed away, I had never heard back from the detectives about what had happened. And I guess after a while, someone had ended up getting arrested for my brother's death. And apparently it was one of his friends that used to stay the night with, you know, my little brother at my mom's house back in the day. But that was one of the hardest things that I had to deal with, because that happened in 1995. And then it was like, a few years later, I ended up losing my mom. And when I lost my mom, I was still locked up. I was still inside. And you know, like one of the hardest parts about that was when it came to my mom, to me losing my mom, it was almost like a repeat of what just happened. They had called me to the front office, put me on FDR again, which was full norm restriction. And I had got another piece of paper telling me to call home. And that was one of the bad situations, you know, some of the worst things that ever happened to me in my life. Because during this time, I had got approved to go to my mom's funeral, but it was wintertime and there was a really bad storm that had hit Fort Wayne at the time, and Allen County Sheriff Department would not come down there and get me for the funeral. So, as you guys know, I really went through it. I went through it bad, and that was all a part of me. That's all a part of getting locked up. Nothing good comes out of being locked up, but nothing good is supposed to come out of being locked up. That's why they call it jail, prisons, because it's not supposed to be a good experience for you. It's not supposed to be a good experience. It's supposed to be a very bad experience. That way that you never ever want to go back to the system again. So here comes 1998, where I'm close to being released from prison, and I had been gone for all those years. Now I'm terrified. First, it went from being excited, excitement that yes, I'm finna get out. I'm finna be a free man again. It went from being excited to all of a sudden to being horrified. Because it's like, okay, my mom is gone. My little brother is gone. I don't have a girlfriend out there, and it was like, I don't have a job. I don't have money. I don't have a car. I don't have any clothes, anything. So the reality for me was starting to kick in, as I got closer and closer to my release date. The reality was really kicking in, like, to the point to where I was really scared to even come home, because it's like, what am I gonna come home to now? I knew if I still had my mom, I could come home and stay with my mom for a while until I got on my feet and stuff like that. And I knew based off of what I was going through when I was in prison, I really didn't have anybody who was really there for me. Like sending me letters, writing me, coming to visit me and stuff. So I knew that once I got released, that I couldn't expect much at all. I knew that it wasn't going, they said that when you get locked up, time might slow down for you, but it don't slow down for everybody else. Because in the real world, everybody's got their own life. Everybody's focused on what they got going on. The world don't stop just because you get locked up. So my time came where it was time for me to get released. One of my cousins had picked me up. I ended up taking a Greyhound bus to Fort Wayne. Compliments of the prison. They paid for my bus ticket and gave me a $75 check, which is what the state gives you when you get released. You can do 50 years in prison, 100 years. When you get released, they cut you a check for $75. Unless you got like other money on your books already, from people, sending you money or stuff. So when I got home, one of my cousins had picked me up from the bus station, him and his wife. That cousin who picked me up from the bus station just passed away last year, unexpectedly. I did a video about it. He picked me up. I got in the back seat. I remember he had an Eddie Bauer Ford Explorer. I got in the back seat. He had me like a little fish dinner with the greens and stuff. And I was like, wow, years since I ate stuff like that. So I was throwing down or whatever. So basically I ended up staying with my cousin for a while. He had his own crib and stuff, and that was cool. And then I got off into like really not wanting to find a job. I end up getting back off into the street life. And it was at that point that I found out really fast that during that time I was gone, that a lot had changed. It's like everybody was hustling. Everybody was making money. Everybody was just grinding. Nice cars, nice rims. Everybody had the little gold in their mouth. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to get caught up on what I lost, what I felt like I lost while I was incarcerated. I felt like there was something owed to me. So I ended up getting back off in the game. I started doing the street thing. Wound up getting shot multiple times. Ended up going right back to prison. It wasn't for a new crime, it was like for the same crime, for like a violation. So I had to go back to finish up, I don't know, 2-3 years or something like that. And when I got out the second time, that's when I really just got myself together. I had met someone at the time, moved in, I started staying the night over her house, and eventually I ended up bringing clothes over there. They eventually moved in with her, and I ended up finding a job and settling down. But it's like I still couldn't get it together. I still couldn't get that street life out of me. I still thought I was like wanting to be thuggish and stuff. And I had to be like maybe 29 or 30 years old. And it was like, I thought I had learned my lesson, but apparently I didn't learn my lesson, because I used to always leave the house at 1 or 2 in the morning, thinking I had to be at this club where my crew was at, had to be at that club where my crew was at. And the same thing started happening again, where I was involved in shootings, being shot at. It was even an incident where I was inside of a bar. I remember this bar like yesterday. It's called the Grand Saloon. A lot of my Fort Wayne people who's watching this video, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. At this bar called the Grand Saloon one night. I was with my ex-girlfriend. She was doing karaoke one night. And she was up there doing her little thing, doing her karaoke, whatever. And this guy was sitting next to me. And I knew the guy. The guy's name was Odell. His name was Odell. I was pretty cool with his brother. Me and his brother had spent time in prison together. So I was pretty cool with Odell. So while my ex was on stage doing a karaoke, singing back and forth, for some reason Odell was sitting next to me next to me at the bar, on the bar stool. He hauled off for some reason. I don't know if he was drunk or not, but he knew that was my girl. He was like, "Oh, B-I-T-C-H, you can't sing, get off the dang on stage, put the microphone down." I looked at him and I just reacted. I just hauled off and just stuck him right in the face. And everything happened so fast, because I'm like, dang, man, you cool, you gonna call my girl B-I-T-C-H? And I just stole on him, man. It was just, I wasn't thinking. And we had that oil in us. We was drinking them schooners. Schooners is them large glasses of beer. We was sitting there drinking and we squabbling, and he didn't just go down like a punk. I mean, he was throwing punches back at me. So we was going, but I didn't realize that after I threw the first punch that he had stuck me in the side. So here I am fighting this dude. My ex, she come off stage trying to jump on this dude back, screaming, "You stabbed my man, you stabbed my man." And I got this freaking knife sticking out of my side. The dude ended up stabbing me in the side. And he ended up going to jail that night. Even though I was the one who had threw the first punch. I should have went to jail. I'm glad I didn't, because I was on papers, parole. And he went to jail because he did stab me. So at the time, it's like I seen my life was just spinning out of control. And then it came a point where I really wanted to just get my life together. I was just told I was in the street too much. I had been shot 6 freaking times, man. Shot 6 times, been in prison twice. And now here I am getting stabbed inside of a bar. So I ended up getting a job through a temp service. And I ended up being one of the lucky ones because through the temp service, in order to get like a lot of the good jobs back home in Indiana, you have to go through a temp service and you have to like prove yourself like over a period of time of working the same job, showing up every day on time. And so I ended up getting a job at this place called the Auburn Foundry, which is no longer open. They used to make like iron castings for the automotive center, for the automotive company. Like the aluminum wheel alloys and stuff like that. Iron casting molds for the vehicles and stuff like that. Like water pumps on the vehicle. We made the iron castings for the components that go on the washing machine and dryer. And so I stuck with that job for a long time. And I was proud of myself because, you know, here I came from always being locked up, being in the clubs all the time, to where now I got real responsibilities. And everything was going okay until I started. I think what changed for me, when I started, I was on first shift, which means I worked 6 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, unless we had overtime. And sometimes overtime was, what's the word I'm looking for? Mandatory. Overtime was mandatory. So which means sometimes I have to work 6 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon, 12-hour shifts. So after I ended up getting hired and completed my probation period through the temp service, the company ended up hiring me full time, but then they put me on second shift because that's the position that they had open. Now at the time, you know, I'm grinding, I'm just getting out the joint, I'm not trying to go back. I got a good job. No, I didn't want to work second shift, 2 a.m. to 2 in the morning. Heck no. But I went ahead and accepted it because I was glad to just have a good job. The problem with that is I started meeting up with people at work, and we would get off work at 2 in the morning. Sometimes we get off, they let us go at like 1:30 a.m. in the morning. And we get off just in time to be able to go to the bar before the bar closed. You know, like an hour and a half into the bar closed. It's a particular bar that used to cash our checks on Thursdays. And so I ended up going to the bar one night, cashing a check, buying drinks, like everybody else. Everybody goes to the same bar when they get off work to cash their checks. And so it was like, I started just hanging out again. I thought I was hardcore. I thought I was that dude. Here I am with an Auburn Foundry uniform on, in a bar, still trying to be thugged out. Well, that ended very quick, because one night, I was supposed to actually go to work, and I called off work sick. Even though I wasn't sick at all, I called off sick, because it was payday. It was payday, man. I'm like, the hell with this. One of the worst mistakes I ever made, man. And this is when my life takes a turn again. I end up calling off work, but I went down there earlier that day to get my paycheck. We wasn't required to have direct deposit like most companies now. You have to have like direct deposit and stuff set up. I didn't have none of that set up. So I went down there, picked up my paycheck. A few hours later, called in sick. I ended up going to that same bar that night, Grand Salon. No work uniform on this day. There's no need to, I'm off. Got a nice little $700 paycheck from working all that overtime. I get into an argument with this guy in the bar. The guy's actually since passed away. God rest his soul, but he passed on. Kind of get into an argument with this guy because we were talking, like when people are drunk or whatever. So he was at the bar before I got there. So he had already had like 3 or 4 schooners in him, whatever. So he was really feeling himself. So, you know, like when you talking to somebody and y'all like right there talking to each other and they talking where spit's flying out their mouth and hitting you. So I'm telling this dude, I said, bro, listen, man, chill out, man. Spit's flying out your mouth. It's hit me in the face. Oh, man, F you, man. Quit acting like a little B.I.T. I hauled off and stole on him. I hauled off on this dude and stole on him. And you know, me thinking that I was really, really cocky. When the dude fell to the ground, I turned my back as if, you know, like I was all that. Like smiling and went back to sit at the bar to finish my beer. By the time I got ready to sit on a bar stool, all I felt was this thing crunch, hit me in the back of the head. This dude had picked up a freaking bar stool and smacked me right in the back of my head. And when I fell to the ground, there were so many people around us trying to stop him from, you know, literally killing me. And so I managed to get up, hold my head, ran out to my car, and grab the pistol. By that time, the police had pulled up. I tried to throw the gun back in my car. It was too late. So now I'm back on my way back to jail again. All in an instant. Now I'm sitting in the back of the squad car. They done got the gun off my seat. And it was just a big disaster because now I'm about to lose my job. Me and the ex had just got a crib way out north together. And I'm just sitting in the back of this police car, knowing the reality that I'm about to lose everything all over again.